Welcome back to Half Moon's Picks. This is Steve, and as promised, I am going to give you the divisional rankings predictions on what I think each division is going to fall by the end of the year. Last year I did this. I got a lot of controversy. Granted, I fell flat on the Giants and the Texans last year, but this year I hope to do a little bit better. So let's get started. First, I got the AFC North. At fourth place in the AFC North, I got the Cleveland Browns. I believe they'll finish 5-11. I know the Johnny Manziel's on the news with the middle finger in preseason. They named Brian Hoyer as a starter, but Brian Hoyer, he didn't do so well. He got injured last year. We might still see Manziel. Both quarterbacks, in my opinion, aren't that great. So 5-11 seems to suit them fine. Next, I got third place, Baltimore Ravens. Last year they finished 8-8. This year I think a little slightly different. They lost a lot of key players. Even their coaches had gone. They did keep Joe Flacco. Ray Rice is suspended first 4 games of the year. So that's going to hurt their running game. 7-9, I believe, is where they're going to finish. And above them, on second place, another 7-9. I think the Steelers are getting a little old. Ben Roethlisberger, he can still do a decent job here and there, but he's getting up there in age as well, along with a lot of the other Steelers that they kept for this year. 7-9, make or break. Ravens, Steelers, they go back and back. It was always a good game. But they're no match for what I got the Cincinnati Bengals on first place. I think they'll finish 10-6 this year. Andy Dalton, I think, is a decent quarterback. He ended up choking up, causing a lot of interceptions by the end of the year, especially in the playoffs. But when you got one of the best wide receivers out there, it's best in the division. So I don't see anybody beating the Bengals in this division this year. Next, let's head over to the AFC East. Fourth place, I got the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to finish 5-11. E.J. Manuel, a great runner. You got Spiller, great running back. They do a lot of things on the ground. No passing game whatsoever. If I gave a ranking of passing game of the Bills, it'd probably be a 10 out of 100. So in that mind, this is a passing league, and you got to learn how to pass. So I'm giving them a 5-11 for this year. Next, the third place, I get Jets. Jets, I think this is Rex Ryan's make or break year. They finished 8-8 last year. I think they'll finish 8-8 this year. Geno Smith, Michael Vick. Even if they do start Michael Vick, he'll get injured halfway through the year. Geno Smith, average at best. He likes to run. I don't think he's a great passer. So I'm giving them 8-8 again this year. Second place in the AFC East, I got the Miami Dolphins at 9-7. I think the Dolphins will get a little bit better than they did last year. At the end of the year, they just blew it. They're in the media with that bullying thing. I think Ryan Tannehill, might step up to the plate and do a little bit better than last year. Might squeak into the wild card, but I'm giving the Dolphins 9-7. And in first place, of course, the New England Patriots. This is their division. They own their rivals in this division. Tom Brady's the best way he does. Coaching staff, probably the best coaching staff in NFL history. I think 11-5 suits them fine. Not as good as last year, but still definitely a winning record in that division. Next, I got the AFC West. Fourth place, I got the Oakland Raiders. 4 Oakland Raiders. They got the worst schedule in the NFL, the hardest schedule, number 1 ranked hardest schedule. And they got Matt Schaub as their starter. And I think their backup just got injured against the Lions in the preseason, so that's all they got is Matt Schaub. They finished 4-12 last year. I think they'll finish 3-13 this year, if that. They kept the starters up most of the game, and they did win a preseason game, just keeping starters in most of the game. But they look sad. So the third place I'm going with the Chiefs. Alex Smith got his signing bonus. He got paid, and I don't think they're going to do as good as they did last year. Their defense does not look as good as they did last year. But 9-7 is a fair enough record. I think they might pull that off, but it's definitely third place. And in second place in the AFC West, I got the San Diego Chargers. Philip Rivers looked excellent last year, and he was just on the climb. I believe this team is on an uphill battle. I'm placing them 10-6. They gave the Broncos a run for their money last year, and I think they'll do just as well this year. And of course, the first place in the AFC West is Denver Broncos. How do you mess with Peyton Manning? They got the number 2 worst schedule, but Peyton Manning can pick apart defenses left and right. How do you bet against it? They improved their offense, and I think they'll go 12-4. The only reason I put them just less than last year at 13-3 is because of the Chargers. I think they'll give them a run for their money in a couple games. So I'm putting the Broncos 12-4, but still winning the division. Next is the AFC South. I got the Jaguars in 4th place. I know who they're going to pick. I know Chad Henne was a starter. Blake Broyles looks good, but a little bit better. But I think they might have a little bit. They got the cabanas now and the poolside seats, and this team needs to focus more on their team. The preseason they look horrible. First starters out there, they're fumbling the ball. Bad snaps left and right. It just looks like the Keystone Cops out there. So this year I'm going to pick them for 5-11 this year, and at the bottom of their division again. Third place I got Houston Texans. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick now, Casey Keenum. I don't know which one's going to start. Both of them I think are not the greatest quarterbacks, but they're a good 65% quarterback. If you're the rate out of 100, it's a good 65. They still do have a decent defense, but if your defense is good, your offense can't do nothing. Where's that going to leave you? So, but I think they'll do a lot better than they did last year. Last year they finished 2-14. This year I think they'll go 7-9. Second place I got the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, they got the new head coach from San Diego, Wisenhunt, and I think they might do a better job than they did last year. Last year they 7-9. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple times. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I'm going to put them at 9-7. I'm not a big Jake Locker fan. He reminds me of Tim Tebow. Does a lot of running when he can't pass anywhere. Not the greatest quarterback in the world, but I do believe they will finish a little bit better. And in first place, of course, the Colts. How do you go against Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck pretty much got this division again. They got the easiest schedule in the league. How do you get first place last year and get the easiest schedule in the league? I don't know, but they do, and I believe they will go 11-5 once again. They get the same record, or pretty close to 11-5. Andrew Luck, take them in the division. Next, let's head over to NFC North. This is my division. I'm a Lions fan, so for fourth place, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. Matt Castle, Ponder, Bridgewater. Controversy, I know they'll probably start Castle. I'm sure we'll see Bridgewater at the end of the year. I don't believe the Vikings are going to do well. I'm picking them 6-10. Third place, I'm going with the Bears. The Bears, I believe, 9-7. They do have a set of great wide receivers. Jake Cutler just got re-signed, and anybody can throw those guys. So I think they'll do well. Their defense looked kind of bad in preseason. Their starters couldn't tackle with anyone, but looks like they're going on their offense this year and not much of a defense. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Second place, I'm going with the Lions, 10-6. Matthew Stafford, Megatron, my team. I believe they will give the Packers a run for their money this year. And first place, I got, again, Packers, 10-6 as well. I think they will finish the same, 10-6. But I think the Packers will probably skim by with a half game or a game or even a tie with a tiebreaker because they are just that lucky. And I think that's how close this division is going to get. Within a 1 game for the 3 games. The Lions, I think they got 3 home games at the end of the year that might help them, you know, at the end of the year against the Packers and Bears. And I think this is going to be a real close, down-to-the-wire division right at the very end of the season. Next, let's go to the NFC East. I got the Redskins at 6-10. RG3, I don't know if he's 100%. I know he was holding his leg last year from that injury, but I just don't believe in him. I think he'll be last place at 6-10. Redskins need to invest in another quarterback, but you know, when they give all your draft picks away, who can you get? Next, I got 3rd place is the Dallas Cowboys at 7-9. Tony Romo, big back surgery. I can imagine we're getting hit in the back one bad time and he's out, and they have no kind of backup quarterbacks, and their defense is the worst in the NFL history, I believe, last year, and they don't look too much better this year either. 2nd place, I'm going with the New York Giants at 8-8. Eli Manning, he's still not looking so great, and their offensive line looks just a little bit better than last year. I think he was like 1 of 7 in the preseason last week in the starter. But you know, Redskins and Cowboys, I think Giants will do a little bit better than them. And in 1st place, I got 11-5, the Philadelphia Eagles. They own the other 3 teams, that's bottom line. Nick Foles looks excellent, and he's going to own this division. All right, next over to the NFC West. I got 8-8, the Rams. Sam Bradford, you know, he was injured half the season last year. They didn't have much of a backup. They grabbed Sean Hill from Detroit. He's a great backup, probably one of the better backups in the league. So in case that happens again, and plus the Rams had decent defense, but they're in the hardest division in the world. They also got the 3rd worst schedule in the NFL. How does that happen? I don't know. But 3rd worst schedule, probably the worst division to be in. You have to pick Rams at 8-8, and then that's a pretty good last place. You know, 8-8 is pretty good. So we'll go next is the Cardinals. I got 9-7 this year. Carson Palmer, you know, he's a 2nd-rate quarterback. They do have a decent defense, and they do play well at home. I'm going with 9-7 with the Cardinals. Next, 2nd place, I got the Seahawks, 12-4. I think, you know, Russell Wilson, he's decent. I mean, Seahawks' best defense, but they lost a lot of key players, and they lost some players on offense. They might not be as good as last year. So I'm just giving it just a grade lower, and I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers in 1st place to win by 13-3. Colin Kaepernick's not one of my favorite quarterbacks, but they do have a great defense and a decent run on the offense. And last but not least is the NFC South. We're going with the 6-10 Buccaneers. Go up to Josh McCown. They got Mike Glennon. You know, a couple 2nd-rate quarterbacks. They do have a decent run team, and they're building on their defense. Levy's a new coach, and so he's restructuring everything. I think they're going to be in last place, but maybe a year or two they better watch out. All right, and 3rd place, I got 7-9, Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, they didn't do so well last year, but I think they're just a step above the Bucs. And in 2nd place, we'll go with Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. They have a great defense. Cam Newton's not a great running arm, but he can throw. I mean, he can run, but he can't throw all that great. But you know, and then I think the Saints are going to take this division at 12-4. Drew Brees, excellent quarterback. Jimmy Graham, tight end, just got paid. And that's what I got for this schedule. This is how everything's going to fall. And if I were to predict the Super Bowl once again, according to my rankings, again, I picked the same thing as last year. I'm picking the Broncos over the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming to my channel. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next month. Peace.